Tell you where I want to start this conversation this afternoon, which is that you took a trip, which I think is a milestone, historic, in that I believe you were the first American CEO to take a visit to Ukraine about a month ago. And I was hoping you could maybe take us behind the scenes of that visit, of that trip, of meeting with Zelensky, and what that was about.
Well, yeah, no, it was kind of a culmination of a lot of stuff, and it was kind of very gratifying when you're building something. But it really, the trip began, we were in Davos, and we did this
Davos, Switzerland, right?
Interview, and there were a number of people from the Ukrainian mission there. Our product, some people know our product well. There's some of our products are well known, but we started off by building a product in the anti-terror context, which allows you to bring together large data sets and in such a way that it's easy to find people. What made it special was that, despite what people believe, a very heavy focus on data protection, and that meant you could also use this product in war zones where people have different level of access. There are a lot of things that kind of lay people don't understand about war products. Typically, we think, oh, people involved in spying and war won't care about data protection, civil liberties. And maybe they don't in the conventional sense. Many do in the conventional sense. There's more of a political divide than people realize. But actually, purely empirically, in a war zone, you can't use a product that doesn't track the pedigree of the data because you have very different access to what's going on in a war. So most people in the war don't know where your data is coming from, how you're figuring out where the enemy is, what your human sources are. That all has to be protected while collaborating with people. You can't do that unless you have a product that both organizes the data and protects and has a rigorous access control model that can be changed to allow people to come in and come out. So we had built a product like that, and we had also, this was almost 2 decades ago. It powers most of the Western world, not all of the Western world, but especially Europe, and it's been used typically by Intel people. And then we have a number of other products. A lot of what our products have been used for can't really be discussed in public, but we have a product that will allow you to get data from a satellite and put it in the hands of a warfighter, allow the warfighter to figure out. That's been used by special forces for a long time. And as we can imagine, if you are in a war situation where you're fighting a large conventional adversary, you would want these products. But what's particularly interesting about this war situation is it turns out that hybrid war, meaning software plus low-grade munitions plus heroism, outperforms conventional war, which is one of the big lessons. And we've been in the background on this on the software side. So I met with people who knew our product very well and then thought it would be both important for my company, but also, honestly, I didn't realize at the time, but I was the first, I think, non-government person, CEO of any company to go. And there's some reasons it's actually can be dangerous, although the major cities are open for business and kind of look like Aspen, except for there's a bombed tank. But then there's a lot of war action going on. So, and then, yeah, there was a lot to this visit. Another thing I was mentioning that isn't well documented is, people measure based on their own skills. I was mentioning this before, but the president is often, it was honestly, in all honesty, more like a half-hour, 35-minute meeting, but my impression of him, he's portrayed as a pure media person, but I think that's because people meeting him are in the media. My impression of him was you could run into someone like him running a business. And it would be very plausible, which very unusual among political leaders. And in my context of my business, I've met nearly all of them.